Good morning, children. Welcome to class 11th biology once again. I hope you all are safe and stay home. Children, in a previous videos we were discussing about chapter 3, that is plant kingdom, and in this chapter we have discussed about Thellophyta, that is algae, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta and Gymnosperm. Children, today we will discuss the last topic and very important topic of this chapter, that is angiosperm. Okay, so children, angiosperm, do you know what is angiosperm? Angiosperms are known as the flowering plants. They bear the flowers, okay, and they also form the fruits. Ovules develop into the seeds and ovary develops into the fruits in angiosperm, and they also have the ornamental features, ornamental value, okay, and they also used in medicinal purposes, okay. So we will discuss in detail about angiosperm in this video. So let's start. Angiosperm, that is a flowering plants, and the sexual reproductive part of angiosperm is flower, okay. So we will start from the flower because the flower is the sexual reproductive part of angiosperm, okay. The flowers develop after completion of vegetative phase, the vegetative phase that occur in plants, and after that the flowers will develop, okay. Children, one question may be asked in exam ki what is floriculture. So floriculture, that is the branch of ornamental horticulture that deals with growing and marketing of ornamental flowers, is called floriculture, okay. Clear? So I repeat once again, floriculture is the branch of ornamental horticulture in which we study about growing and marketing of ornamental flower, okay. So after that, see the parts of the flower. Flower basically have the four parts along with thalamus, okay. The first, that is outermost, and the first accessory pearl is sepals, okay. This sepals is also called calyx. Second accessory part of the flower is petals and is also known as the corolla, okay. Third part of the flower is stamen, okay. It is the male reproductive part of the flower, that is called stamens. Stamens is also known as the androecium, okay. After that, the fourth and last part of the flower is carpels, and this carpels is also known as the gynoecium and pistil, okay. So the four parts that are found in the flower. Children, when school reopen, will take a flower and will take out the parts of the flower on the slide, okay. This is a kind of practical in our syllabus, okay. This will do after reopen the school, okay. In the picture you can see there, first of all, the first part is there, that is sepals. You can see on your screen, these are sepals. Then next, petals, okay. These, color part, they attract pollinators, okay. The role of the petals, that is to attract pollinators for pollination, okay. And the sepals, they provide protection, okay, to the flower. Then after that, you can see the stamen, that is the male reproductive part. Okay, these 1 2 3 4, these types of part are the stamen. Okay, stamen, they have two parts, that is anther and filament. The upper structure is called anther and the long structure, that is called the filament. Okay, now the last, that is pistil. See, this part, that is known as the pistil. Okay, and this pistil, they have the three parts: stigma, style and ovary. So these are the parts of flower that we have discussed in the previous slide. After that, we will discuss about the male and female reproductive system in detail and the fertilization. Children, in male reproductive unit, stamen is the male reproductive part, and that is consist of the following two parts. Number one, a long cylinder stalk called filament, which may be joined or free, and number two, that is a bilobed terminal structure called anther. Okay, so the stamen consists of two parts: number one, filament, and number two, that is anther. Okay, see the structure here. This is the long part, that is known as the filament, and this upper part, that is the anther. Okay, if we see the structure of anther, we can found the pollen grain in the structure. First of all, the pollen sac are found there, and in the pollen sac, the pollen grains are present. Okay, these pollen grains contain the male gamete. Okay, I repeat once again, the stamen, that is the male reproductive organ. The male reproductive organ have anther, and in anther they have pollen sac. The pollen sac contain the pollen grain. Okay, and pollen grain contain the male gametes. Okay, clear about this? So this is about the male reproductive unit. Now second, that is the female reproductive unit. In this, the pistil or gynoecium, okay, represent the female reproductive unit. Okay, the pistil or gynoecium that represent the female reproductive unit. The gynoecium may be have a single pistil or more than one pistil. If they have a single pistil, it is called monocarpellary, but if have more than one pistil, so it is known as the multicarpellary. Okay, if the pistil in the gynoecium is fused, then it is known as the syncarpus, and if the pistil in the gynoecium is not fused, it is free, so it is known as the apocarpus. Okay, see the figure. First of all, A, this is the structure of female reproductive unit, in which the three parts are there: stigma, style and ovary. Okay, stigma, style and ovary, the three parts are there. So if the gynoecium, they have single pistil, it is known as the monocarpellary, and if they have the more than one, it is multicarpellary. Okay, if pistils are fused together like that, okay, the pistils are fused, so it is known as the syncarpus. But if the pistils, they are not fused, they are free, so it is apocarpus. Okay, clear about this? Any confusion? Now children, we will discuss now the female reproductive unit in detail, the different parts of the gynoecium. The first portion, that is stigma, is on stigma the pollen grain are lens. Okay, children, the pollen grain from the male reproductive organ are shed and they land on the stigma of the female reproductive organ. Okay, so the pollen grain are shed here due to the action of wind, water and insect. Okay, the pollen grains are land on the stigma. Then after that, through the style, they reach to the ovary. Clear? I repeat once again, by the process of pollination, the pollen grain come from anther to stigma, and through the style they reach to the ovary. Okay, then after that the fertilization takes place. See, in this chart, the function of stigma, it receives the pollen grain, it has a sticky surface and pollen grain are stuck there during pollination. Style, that is elongated cylinder part beneath the stigma. Okay, through the style the pollen grain reaches to the ovary. Ovary, that is a basal swollen part of the pistil that contains ovules and egg. Okay, so the ovary, that is the main part in the angiosperm that have the ovules and egg where the fertilization takes place. Okay, first of all we see the structure of ovule. Okay, this is the ovule that are found in the gynoecium. In this ovule, the three cells that are found at the chelagel end, and these cells are known as the antipodal cell, and two cells that are found in between, these are known as the secondary nucleus or nuclei. Okay, these secondary nucleus are also known as the polar nuclei. Okay, and in last you can see there on micropyle end one egg cell is found and two synergids are there. Okay, so one egg, two synergids plus two polar nuclei and three are upper side there. So total 8 celled stage are there, 8 nucleate stage are there. Okay, so children, what happened in this? The pollen grain that land on the stigma, they have the two gametes. Okay, two male gametes. One male gametes come in contact with secondary nucleus. Okay, and form primary endosperm nucleus. Okay, and the secondary male gamete come in contact with egg cell and they form zygote. Okay, so in angiosperm the two fusion takes place there. The one fusion, that is one male gamete plus two polar nuclei, and second fusion, that is one male gamete with one egg cell. Due to this dynamic process, the angiosperm have double fertilization. Okay, so in last we can say that in angiosperm the two types of fertilization takes place. The first fertilization between one male gamete with secondary nucleus or polar nuclei and other male gamete with egg cell. Okay, clear? So this event is known as the double fertilization. Okay children, now see more about double fertilization here. As I told you, on reaching synergids The pollen tube releases the two male gametes. One of the male gamete fused to the egg nucleus to form zygote, and this process is known as the syngamy. Okay, other male gamete fused to with polar nuclei with polar nuclei, and they form the primary endosperm nucleus, and this event is called triple fusion. So the two fusion takes place, syngamy and triple fusion. So that's why it is known as the double fertilization. Okay, after that, the central cell after triple fusion develops into the primary endosperm cell, which later develop into the endosperm, and zygote develops into embryo. Okay, clear? Any confusion? Then after fertilization, the post fertilization events occur, in which the endosperms are formed from primary endosperm nucleus, and zygote develops into embryo. Okay, zygote develops into embryo, and the primary endosperm nucleus develops into the endosperm. Okay, clear? Now this embryo again form the new plant. Okay, and the endosperm provide nourishment to the developing embryo. Okay, so children, one of the most important point of this chapter is this topic is the seeds develop into the ovule, and the fruits are formed from ovary. Okay, this may be asked in exam. So children, this is about angiosperm that we have discussed. Okay,